What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel and thanks so much for tuning in to a video that is going to be all about my March favorites. Enough said, let's go ahead and dive in. So first off, let's talk about the hair. The extensions are back. I just spit all over the camera. This is why we wear masks. So those of you guys that have been here around the channel for a few years might know I've been wearing extensions for years. Like up until this time last year when all the salons closed, I had been in extensions for like 5 years, 6 years straight maybe. I had been wearing Vemour tape-in extensions and I have a couple of videos talking about my experiences there and I like them well enough, but my hairstylist started doing Babe hair extensions, which are adhesive free. They're not tape-ins. They're a continuous weft that you hand tie and sew in to your hair. It allows you to get a lot more hair that's less noticeable at the scalp. What I would run into with my tape-ins is that even though the tape, the adhesive strip was pretty thin, it was pretty stiff. So as my hair grew out, I'd have these kind of stiff hair strips because I have naturally very thin, fine hair. That's why I have hair extensions. And so as it grew out, you could really see the base of the extension sticking out as it grew out with my hair. So these allow you to have a lot more hair in your head. They stay a lot more inconspicuous as your hair grows out. And the removal and installation, well, certainly the removal process is a lot easier because I think we would have to wash my hair like 2 to 3 times to make sure we got all of the adhesive out every single time we would move my extensions back up. So that's why I made the switch. I made the switch in like February of 2020. And we all know what happened after that. Hadn't had them in for a while, and when I removed these originally at home, I was kind of enjoying my natural short hair moment, like playing around with it, styling it. It had been a while since I'd had my own natural hair that was that short, and so it was super fun to play around with. I dyed it, I cut it myself, you know, we had fun. But I was ready for these extensions back in, and so I finally got them in. They are Babe hair. I absolutely love them. I can talk more about them in a separate video, but just know they're a major favorite. Now let's talk about some makeup. These are actually some items that I should have mentioned last month, but they were still relatively new to me. They are the Auric Glow Lusts. I have 2 shades, Selenite and Morganite. One is cool undertone, one is a warm undertone. I can't remember which is which because honestly, on my skin tone, it kind of doesn't matter. I use these interchangeably. They don't really look super different on my skin, and I mentioned that in the video where I reviewed these. If I were to do it all over again, I probably would only get one because I don't find I need 2. However, I really like it, and so because it is so multifunctional, it's a cream where the illumination in here is so fine. It's more of like a dewy as like a dewy balm look on your skin rather than a sparkly shimmery highlight. You can really use it anywhere. I'm wearing it under my foundation today, but I've used it over top like as a highlight. You can use it all over your body. I feel like that's going to be a major use for this in the summer, especially, I didn't even think, on your legs. Yes. And they come, I mean, in these massive bottles, you get a ton of products. You can certainly use them really wherever you want to, and you're gonna have a ton of product to last you through it. So have really been loving those. And then for foundation, I swear, I caught the foundation bug in March. Do you ever go through those cycles with your makeup where you could be stuck with the same one product for years and all of a sudden, okay, maybe years would be extreme for me, but months anyway. I'm like ride or die with one product until I get the itch to go a little ham and try a bunch of other products. That was me with foundations this month. So I did go back to my Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection foundation. Mine is in the shade, what is it? Light Medium 10. Love this, especially as a super light, natural looking foundation. You can build it, I would say, to like medium-ish full, but I wouldn't say it's super full unless you plan on layering a full coverage concealer and powder over top. But a beautiful, natural looking and feeling, because it's so thin, foundation on the skin, especially as we head into summertime and especially over this, just so glowy and dewy. But I was at Ulta and I realized, I don't know why I've never tried the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Velvety Matte Foundation. I've been on a glowy, dewy foundation kick for a while, so I thought I'd dip my toe back into the matte foundation game. My shade in this is Cebu 610, as well as the concealer, which I'd never tried, and my shade is 18. I really like these two together. The foundation is super full coverage. Very, very full coverage, very matte, but not uncomfortably matte to the point where it like cakes up in your fine lines or it looks super heavy. It still somehow maintains like a soft satin sort of finish to it, and that is what I think keeps it from looking too heavy and too cakey on the skin, despite the fact that it is very full coverage. The concealer, on the other hand, is a little bit more dewy for me. I don't know if everybody else has had that experience, but it is less matte, I find, than the foundation, and to match the finish of the foundation, I find I have to powder it, which is not a big deal, but just something to note if you're interested in either of these formulas and hadn't tried them like me, but I love them both. They last a long time, they look beautiful, like just as beautiful as when you applied them to the time when you take them off, and they really stay in place. Just phenomenal. And of course, I'm not wearing either of these foundations on my face today because I recently bought the new Huda Beauty stick foundation, the Faux Filter Skin Finish Foundation. Mine is in the shade Toasted Coconut. I literally just got this a few days ago, so I feel like it's not really time to weigh in on whether it's, favorites material or not, but I really like it. I mean, it's like beautiful and like full coverage, but still natural looking, which is what I'd heard about it, and that's why I was interested in it, but no lie, it's the truth, y'all. It really does live up to most likely what you've heard about it. And then to set all that, I've still been loving the Flower Seal the Deal Luminizing Setting Spray. This, I believe I mentioned in last month's favorites, and if I didn't, shame on me because it's phenomenal. It's basically like a dual phase setting spray, so you can see when I haven't shaken it up, there's an oil, a rosy, I think it's rose, a pink oil sitting on the top, and something that is water-based sitting on the bottom. You shake it up, you spray it all over your face, and it refreshes your makeup, especially something that's a little bit heavier, like the Juvia's Place. I noticed that it just freshens it up a little bit, lightens it up a little bit, and gives a little bit of natural, healthy glow, not dewiness. Like the Juvia's Place still definitely stays matte. It just brings a fresh, lit from within life to your skin. Does that make sense? Next, let's talk about the eyes. So I've been all over the place with eyes for the month, been trying and using a lot of new things, going back to some old things that I've really loved, but the one constant has been this new guy from Urban Decay. Their Wild West Naked Wild West palette really took me by surprise, and I mentioned that in the review I did of this guy. Long story short, I just think this palette has a lot of shade contrast. I think it has a lot of color contrast because you have shadows with both warm and cool undertones that really make each other pop when you wear them at the same time. Lots of fun textures from shimmers, mattes, satins, sheer iridescence in here. The packaging itself is gorgeous. This has been and I have a couple of tutorials that I've posted to Instagram using it because I've just found it really is like an everyday sort of palette for me. Even as I'm playing with other kind of multi-finish shadows that I'm trying from other brands, this is the base palette that I use for my go-to like crease shades, building up the outer corner with these deeper matte shades. It's just a really good staple palette that, like I said, I'd been uninspired by a lot of Urban Decay's recent palette releases, so I wasn't prepared to love this, but I really do. And then for mascara, I stumbled upon a new favorite here as well, the Lancome Lash Idole. I think it has a much longer name than this, but it just says Lash Idole, so I'm gonna run with that. And this is the travel sized. I picked this up at Ulta, and because I hate having multiple mascaras open simultaneously, like I already do, I figured, why waste a full-size tube if I don't love this, or if I wanna go back to something else that I'm currently using that's older and is gonna go bad faster. Just gonna get a travel size of this. Boy, do I regret that because I love this mascara. It and its little funky banana-shaped wand, plastic bristles. It's kind of weird. It took a little bit of getting used to, but it is an incredible mascara for curling and lengthening. Normally my focus is volume, and it doesn't ignore you in the volume area, but I would say its main focus is curl and length and lash separation, and this is an expert at all of those things. I've had this open for a couple of weeks now, and even as the formula, you know how mascara is, like as the formula dries out, it can go one of two ways. You either settle into the formula and like that's the sweet spot as it dries out, or it's a disaster and you really only had a good mascara for like a week before it started drying out. This is a sweet spot mascara. This has really hit its stride after being out, losing a little bit of its moisture over, weeks worth of usage, and I just can't say enough good things about it. Probably will buy the full size when I run out of this. Okay, so a few more things to talk about on the face. I should have mentioned this with foundation because I basically use it as a setting powder. This is the Jaclyn Cosmetics Luminous Powder, and I have two different shades, Carrots and Brighten Up I love them both. I have done a couple videos here on my channel about brightening setting powders. Some of my favorites are the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder Glow version, and Lancome actually has some glowy setting powders. I forget what they are called, but I will link them down below. These are very, very similar, but I would say even less glowy, which kind of surprised me coming from Jaclyn Hill, but they're still really fantastic, and I think even better for those who might not have loved how glowy those other setting powders were, toning it down a notch, but still giving you the power of a setting powder and the glow of an illuminating powder. That is exactly what these are. So again, kind of like the Auric, I bought these two thinking that there would be like some major difference in undertone on my skin. Not really. I haven't noticed. I probably could have gotten away with one, but for the fact that I love them so much, I know I will go through them like crazy because I literally set my face every single day, no matter what foundation I'm wearing, with these. I also have some of her loose highlighters that I've been loving. In fact, I'll be honest, I bought quite a few products from her and I really debated doing a review because they sold out so fast. On Ulta, on her website, everything went super quickly and I just thought like doing a review, first of all, there are a ton of reviews out there anyway, but doing a review when they're not available, wasn't sure how helpful that would be. So let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe this is more helpful, just knowing which of everything I bought have kind of stood the test of multiple weeks of use and ended up in favorites, but I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Back to the highlighters though, her loose highlighters, the two that I've been wearing constantly, the one that I'm wearing today is Amped. It is a soft, frosty pinky peach. That is what I am wearing on the tops of my cheekbones today. And then the one that I think is exclusive, no, I don't think it's exclusive. It might be a new shade that she launched. I forget why this is special in terms of the launch, but to me it is special because it is this beautiful, like space age lilac-y purple, the exact kind of shade that I love to use when I layer my highlights. This is one of those shades that I will use to accent like right here in the corner of my eye, even right underneath my eye, which I know, for those of you who might not have seen me do that before, might be thinking highlighter in where my crow's feet are? I don't think so. Just trust me. Trust me and give it a try. Layer your highlighters. Do something like, you know, what you would consider a more natural highlighter on the broad part of your cheeks, and then go in with something more colorful right here beside your outer corner under eye area. And it's just so flattering and interesting to a makeup look, especially these. What I didn't expect from this particular loose powder formula is how wet it would look. So often I think with loose powders, they tend to be metallic blinding, and don't get me wrong, these can be blinding if you layer them up. But even as I layer them, I find that they look more like a balm, like a glossy balm, and not like an ultra glittery, shiny, metallic highlighter, if that makes sense. It really took me by surprise because as much as I don't mind a glittery highlight, I was not expecting a balmy highlight, and so I also love these for that as well. Those are all my recommendations. As always, guys, I would love to hear what you have been loving in the month of March. Beauty, fashion, podcasts, TV shows, you name it, let us know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.